Hey y'all, Melissa here at TwinOaks Family Farm in Southeast Ohio. Welcome back to the Meat Bird Barn. We're going to take a look at Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens that are 27 days old, so almost 4 weeks old. They're in production for poultry, and we're going to talk about how they're using their space. We're going to talk about the motivating factor that's driving them in their use of the space, and we have a little unplanned bonus that we're going to get to show you. You know, we're raising a flock of egg production pullets that are exactly the same age as these meat birds right beside them, and we have a barrier between the two flocks that's just a temporary short wall that we build while the flock is in production, and then we take the short wall down afterwards, and we'll clean the whole building out at that time. But one of the pullets that is going to be kept on farm for egg production jumped the short wall and is in the pen with the meat birds. So actually, it's a really good opportunity to see the size comparison again between the egg bird versus the meat bird. And we have a video we just did a couple days ago that I think we called egg birds versus meat birds, or egg chickens versus meat chickens. I'll put that link down in the description so you can actually go back to that and get a little more background on egg chickens versus meat chickens. But let's take a look at what we have going on in the pen here, and then we'll look at the Rhode Island Red pullet with these Cornish Rock Cross. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. So we are taking a look primarily here at chickens that are being raised for poultry. So let's try to get a sense of the space that they're in. I'm gonna step all the way over to the end of it. The entire structure that they're in is actually a 30-foot by 30-foot building, and we've got the meat birds in a portion of it that's basically 15 foot by 30 foot, so half the building. So at 15 foot by 30 foot, that's 450 square foot, and we've got about 120 Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens in this space, and that equals out to, I think, about 3.75 square foot per bird. It's really excessive as far as stocking density. We don't need to have almost 4 square foot per bird to raise our Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. In fact, our comfort level is probably, as producers, our comfort level with stocking density for our meat chickens is probably about 2 square foot per bird. We feel that that gives them enough space and takes into consideration the different kind of supplies that we need to put in their space as well, the feeders and the waters. So what's going on in this space, though, with this flock, you can see they've got access to all of this 15 foot by 30 foot, and they're basically choosing to stay in about a third of it, about 15 foot by 10 foot. You probably can reason out why that is without me having to really provide any extra information, because you can see from the visual reference that they're basically staying in this end of the building where we've got supplemental heat or heat lamps up, and for the most part they're not using the rest of this. Now that's really, really interesting, because the ambient temperature outdoors today is a temperature that we as people consider very, very comfortable, maybe even perfect. It's about 66 degrees Fahrenheit outdoors. It's just a lovely day. It's just about perfect. These birds, though, here, even at 4 weeks old, Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens really want ambient conditions, probably around about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So they are still choosing, even on a really mild, comfortable day, and even at 4 weeks old, to basically keep themselves near where the supplemental warmth is targeted in the building. Now, here's the bonus I mentioned. So here's our meat birds. These were hatched October 23rd, 2024. There is a Rhode Island Red. She was also hatched October 23rd, 2024. She's exactly the same age that all of these birds are, okay? So they're 27 days old. Isn't that amazing? The growth pattern in meat birds is very accelerated, and that's accomplished just through selective breeding, but they are definitely specialized to produce poultry, and that creates a really rapid growth pattern that just makes them grow so much faster than chickens that we perceive as normal chickens, such as that Rhode Island Red there, okay? But we can see that even with a mild ambient temperature outdoors, the presence of the supplemental warmth is basically the motivating factor determining where this flock of meat chickens wants to spend their time in their space. And so they're staying near the heat lamps. We may get temperatures down in the high 30s, low 40s overnight, and then most definitely all of the birds will go ahead and come over here. So if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to put in comments. Another time this week, we'll talk more about stocking density and space for our meat birds, and we'll include how many birds this building of ours is actually sized for when it was built. So thanks for joining us here at TwinOaks Family Farm and supporting our channel, TwinOaks Farm Poultry. God bless y'all.